He was the guy everyone wanted to be. Daryl Ward had the grin that made you believe he could conquer anything: the ice, the blizzard, even his own fears. But on one ordinary August afternoon, the man who survived -50-degree cold and impossible ice roads faced something no amount of skill could prepare him for. And it changed everything. Millions of people watched Daryl Ward drive across frozen lakes like he was born on ice. His backwards cap, his laugh over the CB radio, the way he could make a near-death experience look like a casual Monday morning, fans loved him. But here's what most people don't realize: Daryl wasn't just entertaining you from behind the wheel. He was saving lives. Born in Montana in 1964, Daryl grew up around trucks. His family ran harvest rigs when he was just a kid. He spent decades learning the business before he ever stepped foot on camera for ice road truckers. By the time he joined Season 6, he was already a veteran. He already knew every trick. He already understood the ice in ways that took other drivers years to learn. What made Daryl different wasn't just his skill. It was his heart. Off camera, he fought forest fires. He organized community drives. He helped rookies learn the road. He lived by one simple motto: any road, any load. It became his signature. Fans quoted it. Other drivers respected it. It meant he would never back down, never refuse a challenge, and never leave someone behind. But then came August 28, 2016. Everything changed in seconds. Daryl was flying home from the Great American Truck Show with his co-pilot Mark Mellott. They were in a small plane heading back to their lives, probably already thinking about the next adventure. Witnesses saw the plane veer sharply. Then it hit the trees. The impact was instant. Both men were gone. The tragedy shocked the entire trucking community. But what makes this story even harder is what nobody talks about. Daryl had just started working on something he was deeply passionate about: a documentary project exploring plane wrecks. A dream project. A chance to share stories that mattered to him. And it was just taking off when his own story ended. What happened on that flight? Why did the plane veer? The investigators could never pinpoint exactly why. But that unanswered question haunts fans to this day. But Daryl's story wasn't the only one that ended in tragedy. While some drivers faced dangers they could see coming on the ice, another cast member found trouble in the most unexpected place: his own home. Art Burke was the kind of guy who made you smile just by watching him. He arrived on Ice Road Truckers in Season 7 like he belonged on frozen roads by birth. This scrappy Canadian looked like he could wrestle a blizzard and actually win. Over 38 episodes between 2013 and 2017, Art proved he wasn't just for show. He was the real deal. His personality was magnetic. He could make you laugh while driving through a whiteout. He could turn the scariest ice crossings into thrilling adventures. Fans loved his energy, his fearlessness, his ability to find humor in chaos. But here's the thing about people who love pushing limits. Sometimes they keep pushing when they should stop. Off camera, Art had this dangerous curiosity. He wasn't afraid to experiment. He wasn't afraid to try things most people would avoid. And that adventurous side that made him great on the ice roads became a serious problem at home. In 2019, Art decided to make something called cannabis concentrate, known as shatter. This sounds innocent enough if you don't know the details. But the process? It requires highly flammable liquid butane. Extremely flammable. Dangerously flammable. Art knew the risks. Reports suggest he was aware of how dangerous this was. But he pushed forward anyway. Maybe he thought he could handle it. Maybe he thought he was too experienced to make mistakes. Maybe he just didn't think it through. Then came the spark. What happened next wasn't something you could fix with ice road skills or years of trucking experience. His home exploded into a fireball. Neighbors felt the explosion from blocks away. The damage topped $60,000. Art suffered second-degree burns covering 40% of his entire body. He spent nearly 2 weeks in the hospital, fighting through pain that most of us can't even imagine. But the legal consequences were only beginning. In 2020, Art pleaded guilty to arson by negligence. He faced house arrest. He had to pay restitution. He had to sell his rig, the truck he loved, the vehicle that made him famous, just to cover the fines and debts. Even after all of that, his rebellious streak showed up in court. He came late to a sentencing hearing. He challenged the judge's schedule. He pushed the system's patience to the absolute limit. Some people never learn no matter what happens to them. Today, Art posts haul videos under a new name. But the easy grin is gone. The carefree energy is gone. What remains is a serious, haunted expression that tells you everything. He still hears that explosion. Every single time he blinks, he's back there. Some of the most dangerous moments in life don't happen on the ice. They happen when you least expect them. Hugh Rowland was known as the Polar Bear, and for good reason. He was one of the early stars of ice road truckers. The guy with the gravelly voice and no-nonsense attitude that became central to the first seasons. Only one driver appeared more on screen than Hugh, and that was Alex Debogorski. There was something about Hugh that viewers couldn't look away from. He had this perfect mix of humor, toughness, and real skill. He was instantly memorable. Producers built entire episodes around his lectures to rookies. They filmed his clever ways of handling treacherous ice. He was TV gold. Fans loved his gruff charm. And Hugh knew it. When producers first approached him about putting cameras in his trucks, he didn't hesitate. He told them straight up, "Yeah, you can put cameras in my trucks, but just stay out of my way. It doesn't cost me any money anyway. Nobody's going to watch us go up and down the ice." He was wrong about that last part. Millions of people watched. Hugh had the kind of personality that made you want to listen to his stories. He could make you laugh. He could make you respect the dangers of ice roads. He could make you believe that with enough experience and focus, you could survive almost anything. He seemed invincible. But then came 2014. Everything changed in a moment. Off-duty, riding as a passenger in an SUV, Hugh was traveling on a narrow dirt road. The driver was Will Morrison, a producer who had worked with the show. The vehicle veered off the road suddenly. It rolled over. The impact was violent and sudden. What happened next shocked everyone who knew Hugh. Severe spinal injuries. A shattered left heel. The kind of damage that doesn't heal quickly. The kind of damage that changes your life forever. Recovery took 2 years. 2 full years of pain, physical therapy, and fighting just to walk again. But the physical damage was only half the story. Nobody talks about what happens to your mind when your body betrays you like that. Nobody talks about the depression, the frustration, the fear that you'll never be the same. Hugh filed a lawsuit against the producer, claiming reckless driving. A legal battle began. Lawyers got involved. The case dragged on. And while Hugh was fighting in court, something else was happening at home. The injuries created problems in his marriage. Medical records and claims suggested that the injuries impacted their intimacy. The relationship broke under the strain. The lawsuit was never fully publicized. The network quietly wrote him out. No big announcement. No farewell episode. Just silence. Hugh hasn't returned to ice roads since that day in 2014. But he still shows up at truck shows sometimes. You can see him signing autographs, leaning on a cane, with fans whispering about what really happened to end his career. Most people don't know the full story. What happened next proved that sometimes the real strength comes from what you do after everything falls apart. Despite everything, Hugh Rowland proved something important. He didn't disappear. He didn't give up. He built a construction company. He spent time with his family. He showed that resilience means finding new roads when the old ones are blocked. But not every driver finds that kind of peace. Some carry scars that never fully heal. Todd Dewey seemed like the kind of guy who had it figured out. When he joined Ice Road Truckers in Season 7, he became known for something specific. He was fast. He was skilled. He was one of the fastest drivers at chaining up trucks in the Yukon. Fans loved him not because he was flashy or loud. They loved him because he let his skill speak louder than words. He was the kind of driver who tackled frozen roads that would intimidate even veteran truckers. He moved with confidence. He rarely needed to raise his voice or prove himself. His actions on the ice said everything. On screen he was steady, calm, professional. The type of driver you wanted next to you in a whiteout. But the life of an ice road trucker doesn't stop when the cameras turn off. The road's danger doesn't care if you're famous or careful. It doesn't care how skilled you are or how many impossible situations you've survived. January 2019 changed everything. Todd was hauling spruce logs near Shelton, Washington. It was supposed to be another job. Another load. Another day of doing what he did best. Then a sedan crossed the center line. It happened in a split second. A head-on collision. Catastrophic impact. Both people in the car died instantly. A 65-year-old man and a 64-year-old woman. They were probably heading somewhere important. They probably had families waiting. They were probably thinking about anything except the truck coming toward them. Todd walked away physically unscathed. Just bruises and shock. But physically surviving and emotionally surviving are two completely different things. The RCMP cleared him. They blamed black ice and the other driver's excessive speed. The investigation said it wasn't his fault. On paper he did nothing wrong. But try telling that to your mind at 3 in the morning when you can't sleep. Try convincing yourself you're innocent when you keep seeing their faces. He posted a heartfelt message on Facebook shortly after. He shared his anguish. He begged others to drive safely. That message revealed something most people never saw from Todd on camera: emotional depth. A man broken by witnessing something no one should ever witness. Friends say he quit long-haul trucking immediately after. He switched to local gravel runs. He avoided night driving whenever possible. He was trying to escape the ghosts that followed him. But here's the thing about guilt that isn't legally yours. Your brain doesn't care about court decisions. Your mind doesn't care about being cleared. It just keeps replaying the moment you wish you could change. That guilt became a prison. Years passed. 8 years to be exact. 8 years of local gravel runs. 8 years of avoiding the long highways. 8 years of trying to outrun the guilt that followed him like a shadow. Todd built a life away from the ice roads. He got married. He had stability. He had peace. Or at least he told himself he had peace. But there's something about ice roads that never really leaves your blood. Todd admitted privately to people close to him that he missed it. He missed the challenge. He missed the solitude of long stretches of frozen highway. He missed the satisfaction of a well-driven haul. He missed feeling alive in a way that nothing else could match. It wasn't just about making money. It was deeper than that. It was about being part of something bigger than himself. Here's where it gets interesting. As of 2025, Todd Dewey is returning to ice roads. He's coming back to the show after 8 years away. Season 12 is bringing him back, reuniting him with Lisa Kelly in Muskie Creek once again. The man who swore he'd never drive long haul again is driving long haul again. When asked about his return, Todd didn't hide how he felt. He admitted the love for the challenge is too strong to resist. The pull is still there. 8 years couldn't kill it. Therapy couldn't remove it. Stability couldn't replace it. The ice roads were calling and he answered. But here's what makes this story so compelling. His wife still worries every single time he's on the ice. She probably lies awake at night thinking about accidents. She probably has conversations with him about safety. She probably wishes he'd find his thrills somewhere else. But she also knows that asking him not to drive is like asking him not to breathe. Some people are just built for this. So what goes through someone's mind when they return to a life that once brought them face to face with death? How do you get back in the cab after 8 years of nightmares? How do you trust yourself again when your last memory is a tragedy? And here's the bigger question that nobody wants to ask. With the ice changing every year because of climate shifts, will Todd's old tricks and instincts still be enough? Or is he stepping into even greater danger this time? The roads aren't the same anymore. The weather patterns are shifting. The permafrost is thawing. Everything about ice roads is becoming more unpredictable and more dangerous. Before we reveal what happened next in his first season back, subscribe because stories like this prove that comeback is never as simple as just picking up where you left off. Sometimes the biggest challenges aren't the roads, they're the demons inside your head. Most people think they know Lisa Kelly. When you hear ice road truckers, her name is probably one of the first that comes to mind. She's the woman who proved something powerful, that you don't need to be the biggest or the strongest to conquer the deadliest roads in North America. She just needed skill, determination, and a refusal to quit. Born in 1980, Lisa started driving on ice road truckers from Season 3. She kept coming back. Season 4. Season 5. Then she took a break because healing is hard when cameras are in your face. She told producers exactly why. You can't heal bruised ribs when a camera crew is in your face every sunrise. That honest statement revealed something many people didn't expect from her. Lisa wasn't just tough. She was also human. But she came back. Season 7 through 11 she was there. Pushing through Alaska's deadliest roads. Tackling the frozen stretches of the Dalton Highway. Handling treacherous inclines. Managing massive loads that would intimidate most drivers. She faced it all. Here's something that still shocks people. Early in her career, she wasn't even paid for her first few seasons. Think about that. She showed up. She drove. She risked her life. And nobody paid her. But she kept showing up anyway. She let her work speak for itself. She told producers something powerful: I'm going to prove I'm more than eye candy. And she absolutely did. Over time, her reputation became something special. She wasn't known just for fearlessness. She became known for precision. For professionalism. For a calm focus in situations that would overwhelm most drivers. Colleagues respected her. Fans admired her. Her presence on the show helped redefine what it meant to be a woman in an industry dominated by men. But Lisa's story took a painful turn when Daryl Ward died in that plane crash. They weren't just co-workers. They co-owned a trucking business together. His death left her juggling grief, business responsibilities, and the emotional weight of carrying on their shared dream. She could have walked away. She could have sold the business and found easier work. She could have disappeared from the public eye. Many people would have. But Lisa didn't walk away. She kept the company running. She continued to haul freight. She honored his memory with every mile she drove. This wasn't just about making money or staying famous. This was about resilience in the face of devastating loss. This was about a woman refusing to let tragedy define her future. Now in 2025, Lisa is still trucking in Alaska. She pilots her freightliner Coronado, navigating ice roads with the same skill and confidence that made her famous years ago. She shares glimpses of her life with her husband Travis Kelly and their beloved horses. No scandals. No arrests. Just decades of grit, skill, and independence that earned her an estimated net worth around $5 million. But Lisa knows things about the ice roads that even cameras don't catch. Most of us may never become famous. But many of us know what it feels like to face rejection and keep going. Lisa Kelly understands that better than almost anyone. She also understands something else. The ice roads aren't just about individual drivers. Behind every successful trucker, there's usually a business owner making sure the operations run smoothly. And on the ice roads, that person is often someone you don't see on camera. Mark Kohakewicz is the steady hand behind Polar Industries, a Winnipeg-based trucking company that has taken on some of Canada's harshest northern terrain. When you watch ice road truckers, you see drivers facing blizzards and near-miss crashes. You see the drama. You see the danger. But what you don't always see is the person coordinating everything from the office. Mark played that role many times. On screen, he often looked like the straight man, quietly overseeing operations while others faced chaos. But behind that calm exterior is a man whose story is all about strategy, endurance, and deep respect for the North. He first appeared on Ice Road Truckers in Season 5, but his role grew larger over time. By Season 7 he was becoming more prominent. By Season 10 he was doing more than just managing. He even briefly drove Darryl Ward's truck. He operated a heavy loader. He proved he wasn't just a desk guy, he understood the work because he had actually done it himself. But Mark's story doesn't start with Polar Industries. It starts with curiosity and a friendship that changed everything. As a university student, Mark and a friend had this habit. They'd take ice fishing day trips during winter. Nothing special at first. Just two guys enjoying nature. But something shifted over time. They started pushing farther. Staying out longer each year. Going deeper into remote areas. And during these trips they noticed something fascinating. Freight trucks constantly passed through the frozen wilderness, delivering supplies to communities far from any main road. That observation became a question. That question became an idea. Could there be a business opportunity in hauling supplies to places that were completely inaccessible? Could they serve communities that had no other option? The answer was yes. And Polar Industries was born. What started incredibly small, just 21 loads in the first year, grew into something massive. By the 6th year they were handling over 700 loads annually. They were supplying remote communities. They were supporting First Nation settlements. They were keeping isolated towns alive through brutal winters. These weren't just business transactions. These were lifelines. One example proved just how far Mark's commitment went. In 2017, the railroad line to Churchill, Manitoba, was washed out. Without it, essential goods couldn't reach the town. People were going to suffer. Mark didn't hesitate. He coordinated the construction of an ice road specifically to deliver fuel and perishable food before Christmas. He called it a Christmas present to Churchill. His crews worked grueling 14 to 18-hour days. They battled harsh weather. They fought logistical challenges. They pushed through exhaustion. And Mark orchestrated everything from planning to execution. When asked about it later, he didn't make it sound heroic. He just explained the reality. It's not like you can pick up a cell phone and call for help. There are no helicopters, no aircraft. You take calculated risks every day. That statement alone reveals the responsibility Mark carries. Not just for his business. Not just for profits. But for real people whose survival depends on his decisions. Since the show ended, Mark has stayed out of dramatic headlines. No fires. No lawsuits. No scandals. Just the ongoing chess game of keeping freight moving across thawing permafrost and unpredictable northern conditions. His story isn't flashy. It's not the kind of story that gets people arguing in comments. But it's compelling because it shows the quiet, often unseen side of the ice road world. While viewers are drawn to crashes and snowstorms, Mark represents something different: strategy, foresight, and the mental toughness it takes to manage life in extreme isolation. But even with all his planning, the ice has a way of humbling everyone. Which brings us to the man who understood that better than anyone alive. The man who appeared in every single season. The man who became the face of ice roads themselves. Alexander Debogorski is the original ice road legend. He's the only driver to appear in all 11 seasons of Ice Road Truckers. Fans loved him for his humor, his grit, and the calm steadiness he displayed even when everything around him seemed ready to collapse. He was the show's backbone. He was the guy you trusted. He was the guy who made you believe that courage was possible. But before Alex became famous on television, his life was already unbelievable. According to reports and interviews, Alex survived 37 bar fights in a single week. Think about that. 37. He survived 11 attempted robberies. He narrowly avoided being crushed in a coal mine. Those experiences shaped something deep inside him. Instincts that later saved him countless times on the ice roads. Where other drivers panicked, Alex stayed calm. Where others froze, he moved. It wasn't because he was fearless. It was because he had already faced death multiple times and lived to tell about it. His approach to driving was simple but profound. Respect the ice, trust your instincts, and never underestimate the road. He didn't just drive across the ice. He listened to it. He kept his window cracked in sub-zero temperatures so he could hear every sound. Every creak. Every groan. Every shift. He understood something most people never will. The ice talks if you know how to listen. That's the ice talking, he would say. Ignore it and it might swallow you whole. Over decades he endured frost-bitten fingers. Blackened cheeks from extreme cold. He spent 3 full days trapped in a snow-buried truck at temperatures as low as 60 below zero. Survival for Alex was never about being the toughest. It was about respect, focus, and patience. Off-screen, Alex transformed into something unexpected. A storyteller. He didn't disappear after the cameras stopped rolling. He did the opposite. He started sharing his decades of experience with new audiences. He toured Canada giving talks on trucking history. He posted weekly videos comparing modern rigs to the massive, unwieldy trucks he started driving in the 1970s. In 2022 he joined a streaming station for truckers, hosting a program called Tail Lights that recounts some of his craziest, most unbelievable adventures. He became a published author. His memoir, King of the Road, True Tales from a Legendary Ice Road Trucker, gave fans an inside look at a life most of us can't even imagine. But despite his fame, despite his success, Alex remained grounded. He stayed devoted to his wife, Louise, and their 11 children. Life at home in Yellowknife, with children laughing and old songs playing on the radio, was just as important to him as the thrill and danger of the road. There was no jail time. No scandal. No dramatic headlines. But Alex had this unique way of finding adventure in everything, even losing a bet that forced him to milk a yak on camera, or improvising his way out of a stuck truck in a blizzard. Every story reminded viewers that courage isn't recklessness. It's staying clear-headed while walking the edge of danger. So here's what we learned from all of these stories. Daryl Ward taught us that sometimes the end comes when we least expect it, even for the strongest among us. Art Burke showed us that pushing limits can destroy your life if you're not careful. Hugh Rowland proved that resilience means finding new roads when the old ones close. Todd Dewey revealed that trauma doesn't disappear just because we stop talking about it. Mark Kohakewicz demonstrated that quiet leadership and strategy matter more than fame. Lisa Kelly showed us that grief doesn't have to end your story. And Alex Debogorski taught us that respect for danger is stronger than courage without wisdom. The ice roads were dangerous on camera. But the real danger, the lasting danger, came after the cameras stopped rolling. These aren't just celebrities dealing with problems. They're human beings dealing with consequences that most of us will never face. They pushed limits. Some survived. Some didn't. Some changed forever. Most of us may never drive on frozen lakes at -50 degrees. But many of us know what it feels like to face impossible odds and wonder if we'll make it through. Many of us know what it feels like to survive something terrible and carry those scars forever. Many of us understand that the biggest dangers in life often come from the choices we make when nobody's watching. But this wasn't the only unbelievable chapter from Ice Road Truckers cast members. The next story on your screen reveals an even bigger secret that most people still don't know. Something that will make you question everything you thought you knew about the show. Make sure you watch it next because you won't believe what happened behind the scenes.